Welcome to the hip hop heads and the novices. Welcome to the slurpers and the Slim Shady fans. This is part 2 of our hip hop episode. We haven't done one of these in a while and wanted to, in part, to discuss one of the biggest rappers in the world, Eminem, and for me to wax lyrical about one of my favorite rappers, CupcakKe, who should be far, far more well known in my opinion, and I'm hoping that Fran feels the same. This probably needs a bit of an explicit rating at the beginning and a violence one, I suppose, because we're talking about Eminem lyrics, we're talking about CupcakKe lyrics. So if you are of a sensitive nature, I suggest maybe listening to another episode. If not, well, enjoy getting drenched from all corners.
Welcome to the Underrated podcast with Fran and Babs. Is it over or underrated?
Welcome back to Over Underrated with a co-host Fran and my co-host
Babs. Hello, people. We are back with another fine episode.
We are talking about music, shock horror, and this month's episode we're doing hip hop. Is it part 2?
It is
our
part
second
2.
hip hop episode. 2 hip hop episodes in 4 years, and that's kind of like my music collection. We are discussing Eminem and CupcakKe, one of Bab's underrated favourites.
Absolutely. I cannot wait to get into CupcakKe, especially, and talking about her lyrics, especially. Fran, I hope you've gone to genius.com.
I have.
Or similar.
There's a lot to digest.
There's a lot to digest, so let me be your guide in that respect, and I hope you'll guide me through the first pick. But before we get there, what music have you been listening to, or have you been to any gigs?
I haven't been to any gigs, but it has started. My end of the year research has begun.
Aha.
And so I have listened to possibly hundreds of tracks over the past month.
Already? Wow, I'm impressed.
Also because I always think that Spotify Wraps happened in October. So I want to have an up-to-date Wraps. Because sometimes I forget to do it. And it's your favourite artist this year was Eminem. No!
Hang on.
So yeah, I've listened to I've done a lot of research and I've caught up with most of the highly reviewed albums and the biggest singles of the year. So I need to take it down from 100 songs down to 50 or 40, I reckon.
Can you preview a song which is likely not to be in your final 10, but that you've particularly enjoyed, maybe that's been a surprise?
Oh, come on. Hold on. I literally was doing like this weekend, so scrolling through songs that would be in my top 100, but not my top 10, would be Los Campesinos has come back.
Mm-hmm.
Do I try and choose some cool acts or just some embarrassing ones?
Bit of both. One cool, one embarrassing.
Okay, so Nick Cave, that's a cool one. Mm-hmm. He's got a decent new album out. And New Kids on the Block, I've got a new single out. There we go.
Incredible. I think that shows the diversity of this podcast and our music tastes as well. And not the first mention of New Kids on the Block. They have been on a playlist before, so yeah.
What have you been listening to, Babs?
Well, I've been listening to the music of a lot of gigs that I've been going to. So recently, I finally saw Goat Girl. That I've been wanting to see for ages. I was absolutely dead. I moderated an event in Amsterdam that day, came back, went to the concert, and I was so tired that I even got the set list, went to get my stuff from the lockers, came back, they were literally all there, and I was like, yeah, would love to talk to them, would love to get them signed, but I'm out. This is, the late 30s is here, Fran.
To be fair, that is one of the bands I need to catch up on. I've not delved into their album yet.
Oh, it's good. Like, I would say it's not as good as their first two.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of sad that, I've been trying to catch them for ages. This is the third time since I've lived in Brussels that they've come. The first one I missed because of illness, the second one because of a work trip, or, vice versa. And this time I had a work trip on the same day, but I was like, I don't care. I'm coming. But actually, as I often say, there were songs on their album that I was a bit indifferent to that now that I've seen live, I really enjoy.
I do like it when it happens. Guess that's a second wind.
Guess who I went to see last week? The king of Lime Green, before Charlie XCX. I went to see Karia from Eurovision, And it was amazing, Fran. It really surpassed my expectations because I went in knowing literally 3 songs and that was it. And he kept the crowd like going from beginning to end. It helped that I went with my friend Riku, who is Finnish, knew some of the songs, could translate some of the lyrics to me. But even if I hadn't had that, like he had some amazing backup musicians. There was his lookalike Hadia, who I don't know if you've seen online, who also now has his own song. And when he played his song, he was pretending to play a recorder that one of Hadia's musicians would smash up. And the inter-song banter was great because he's very funny, but also very, very earnest. He was just like, oh, I'm really enjoying touring Europe. I don't want to go home. This is great. What a dream. And like, he meant it, like you could tell he wasn't faking it. So yeah, that was a big highlight. And moving very differently, tomorrow I'm seeing Wargasm, and next week I'm going to go to Groningen in the Netherlands to see DC Death Race. Yeah, it's funny. With me, I think in gigs, it's usually like I don't go to that many and then suddenly they're all in one go. So yeah, I think I would have gone to 4 or 5.
Yeah, autumn is like, I guess in Britain that's when everyone wants their Christmas money. You get all the same bands touring in November and December, like Shed 7, just to get that lovely Christmas cash. But yeah, I might see Shed 7 are in Bournemouth in December. We shall see if I check them out. So back to the podcast theme of hip hop. Eminem, tell me your thoughts.
I'll tell you my thoughts, Fran. So I've never been a particularly big fan of Eminem. He was obviously everywhere in the late 90s, early noughties. So, as I was a kid and then becoming a teenager. And I really feel like him and 50 Cent were the rappers that did the most disservice to me getting into hip hop. I think because they were just 2 of the biggest names out there. And to me, the lyrics were often just, so violent, so misogynist. I just really kind of tapped out. Like, I couldn't deny that, some lyrics were funny. And like what he did with his music videos as well was very smart. And yeah, it is interesting because he was definitely a key person in popularizing hip hop to non-Black audiences. I think, hip hop wasn't as big a genre, especially kind of outside of North America, I would say. But yeah, he definitely improved its popularity. But it just seemed to be at the expense of everyone. I can get on board with kind of like self-loathing lyrics as he has. But it just seemed to slag off everyone close to him, gay people, women, other rappers. And I found this stat that said, in June 2019, Hip Hop by the Numbers calculated that he dissed 137 people on his solo albums, with Encore featuring the most disses with 39.9% of the lyrics devoted to targeting people. So I was like, aha, vindicated. Even though, yeah, like he gets accused of homophobia, then Elton John vouches for him, and I'm like, what's going on? But anyway, we'll come back to that. He has an amazing flow, you can't deny that. Like I said, the funny lyrics, but just, if anything, like I said, he really kind of put me off the kind of music that he was making. How about you?
So were you a hip hop fan pre-Eminem, or I guess you're maybe too young?
No.
So obviously, I guess I knew other white rappers with Snow, Vanilla Ice. I guess the Beastie Boys. And the Beastie Boys were a big influence on him. I think his uncle got him into Beastie Boys, which set him on that path. But I guess, I mentioned before, I never really listened to the lyrics. I probably didn't even notice his homophobia or anything. I just sort of knew that I just would sing along to the chorus because he rapped too fast for me to even notice half the time what he's on about, apart from the odd word saying, "Oh, maybe. Oh, I know him." Do you know what I mean? I
Spice Girls. Okay.
So I watched Eminem literally through MTV. And I guess they're all probably censored anyway, because I probably didn't hear some of the harsher stuff. I never checked out any of his albums at all. I'm not Captain Hip Hop, so I would just.
You're not CH.
I'm not CH. But yeah, I guess I know. I guess it's interesting. Reading up about him. In fact, he was in the coma for 5 days, had brain damage.
I did not know.
After his debut album flopped in 1997, he tried to commit suicide. And he randomly went to a festival called the Rap Olympics in 1997, and he was, I think, one of the only white rappers, and he came second. But people said he was the best one there. But politics didn't want a white rapper to win it. And one of the people at that event was Jimmy Irvine, who signed him and then passed him on to Dr. Dre, who was impressed and took him under his wing. And then the rest is history, because that's when he created Slim Shady, and off he went in this cartoon version of himself. But I think I probably own Curtain Call, the best of, and never played it. Like my best of Green Day and my best of other bands. I never bought.
What other ones?
I think I've got a best of Elvis Presley. I've never put it on. I've got a best of Johnny Cash. I've never put it on. I've got the best of so many bands. Thinking,
it's like a just in case, right? But
it's working. Yeah, it's like it's £3 on sale. I should probably own that, I guess. And then, it just sits in the corner. Yeah, I'm not the world's biggest Eminem, but obviously because I was around in that period, I probably know more Eminem than Kendrick Lamar. I probably know more Eminem than Kanye West, who is probably, I guess, as big an artist.
Overrated.
So going into this, I basically chose a track from each album. Most of these are singles. Most of these are songs that I guess the average person knows. And I
was going to ask for your tactics. So I guess it was going through the whole discography and then some that both of us know well to talk about, right?
Yeah, and I found some of his annoying tracks, some of his, most. So I started off, I guess, with My Name Is, because that's probably how most people our age discovered Eminem. So it's like a UK top 10 album. He completed My Name in an hour. That's how fast he was. It's just basically he's an angry cartoon rap, and he's one. I think he must be one of the first ones to constantly mention popular culture. I guess previous to that, in the '90s, people didn't really talk about South Park or The Simpsons. It's more about their lives and their neighborhood, and it wasn't really about what's on TV. So I guess he brought in that popular culture, which probably helped him open up another because if and I guess South Park was one of the biggest TV shows with a similar naughty dark humor, which went hand in hand with them and fans. So he put Dr. Dre in the video to say, hey, look, I've got Dr. Dre, so I'm cool, guys. But also interesting is that Snoop Dogg's debut single also was What's My Name. So Dr. Dre maybe did that on purpose. Mention your name in your first single, and people can remember your name. But it samples Labi Schiffer, I think, is it Labi Schiffer?
Yep.
And hilariously for people in Britain, the people who played on that track was Chaz and Dave. So famously,
really?
Eminem samples Chaz and Dave.
Yeah, actually, maybe I have heard that fact before.
Chaz and Dave, two people who are not British, they were session musicians. But in the 80s, they joined a jury doing sort of pub sing-along songs like Snooker, Lou Peanuts, or We. It's quite a jokey sort of pub band, but it's quite funny about Eminem sample that. And he mentions lots of homophobia. Quite big reviews, which is quite interesting because Labi is openly gay. And he did, he asked them to change the lyrics.
Yeah, he literally said, "Dissing the victims of bigotry, women as bitches, homosexuals as F words, is lazy writing. Diss the bigots, not their victims." Which is yes, Eminem. I think you're still learning that lesson.
So your thoughts on My Name Is?
I mean, it's a great beat.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really great beat. The chicky is really funny. Before Timbaland was doing that with Aaliyah in 2001, 2002, chicky. But yes, I'd forgotten how violent and misogynist the lyrics were. Got pissed off and ripped Pamela Lee's tits off and smacked her so hard I knocked her clothes backwards like crisscross. He talks about which Spice Girl he wants to impregnate. So it's definitely listen to it. Feels very nostalgic because of course I remember this being big. I remember the music video, but it's just that's it. Sometimes you can get past lyrics that you don't like or disagree with. With Eminem it's difficult, especially because he is so kind of in your face and his voice can sound very aggressive, which sometimes works, but I think it's at its best when it's a bit more moderated, and we'll come to some songs where I think it's a bit better. Because otherwise it just sounds like he is shouting in your face and you're like, oh Jesus, calm down. So not much love lost with this song. I probably skip it. I find that Ricky slightly annoying now after hearing it so many times. But so moving on to Rap God.
Terrible title. This is Eminem 2 from 2013, a number one album, and I don't recognise this song at all before I checked it out. But famously, he has the world record of the most amount of words in a rap track. So he does show off his skill. But I remember like years ago, Will Smith said that he was one of the best rappers, and he would go to like parties with other rappers and prove that he had a better flow than some of the biggest rap artists in the world. I'm now looking back thinking, were those parties hosted by P. Diddy? But anyway,
or R. Kelly.
Yeah, for me, it's rap by numbers. It's Eminem by numbers. It needs a more interesting, I guess, Dre production.
Yeah.
I put down a super fucking pun. He might be the rap of the gods, but the music is very mortal. I apologize.
Very good.
The
Very
video
good.
was one of the first videos to hit 1 billion, and it features the Max Headroom, which was an 80s pop culture character, which was invented by my former scriptwriting creator in Bournemouth. Fun fact. That's my only link to Eminem.
Wow. Okay, so you're 2 steps to Eminem.
Oh yes, very much so.
Which makes me 3,
yes.
Which is great.
Rap God, had you ever heard it before?
I had never heard it before. I feel like I remember maybe reading about it and stuff, because it is kind of like a sort of summing up. I was really surprised how different his voice sounded. I mean, compared to what I just said with My Name Is, and I couldn't believe there was such an electronic beat below. I'd never heard of DVLP who produced it, but I didn't like the beat at all. The song is long. I think it's really loud and repetitive. I really don't like the piano on top of the synths. There are occasional interesting sections, like especially the very fast section that starts with the Summer Lama Duma Lama. But I mean, people talk about Eminem, but it's like Busta Rhymes is there, guys. Busta Rhymes is there, and he does this like as well as Eminem, in my opinion. And actually, Busta Rhymes was one of the few rappers from that time that I did like, even though I've mentioned this before, the video to Give Me Some More scared the shit out of me as a child, with the crazy people with their faces kind of melting and molding. No idea how sexist Busta Rhymes is, but like in his songs it doesn't come across as much. But anyway, back to Eminem. Yeah, you look at the lyrics. Again, I can get on board with the self-loathing Eminem, you know, and it's like you do get that feeling that he's lashing out because there's so much self-loathing, and you know, from what goes on in his life as well, you feel it. So he talks about like the only Hall of Fame I'll be inducted in is the Alcohol of Fame on the Wall of Shame, and you're like, oh, that's good stuff. He talks about being the white trash god. There's a very funny line which is, you're pointless as Rapunzel with fucking cornrows. But yeah, he's still talking about Monica Lewinsky, who, you know, has
in 2013. There's an odd reference.
In 2013, and I mean, I don't know when she did, but she talked about how awful it was being a punchline. Like she was a punchline for so many people, and it's like, you know, again, like she was the, you know, the victim, so to speak. And yeah, everyone kind of made fun of her. But yeah, it surprised me that Guinness World Records thing, because again, I would have thought that something from Busta Rhymes would have been on there, but maybe I think it said like hit single,
really?
the hit single with the most words. So maybe there we go. But yeah, I've listened to it 3 times and I've already forgotten it.
Same. So a track I haven't forgotten about is Without Me.
How could
from
you?
From 2002, the Eminem Show, the biggest album of 2002 apparently. Guess Who's Back is more cartoon hip-hop, picking new pop culture targets, including maybe who I mentioned earlier. Not a massive evolution from his previous album. It's got a rather annoying motif going through it. It's catchy. It's Eminem versus the media again. He is the saviour, a bit like what Robbie Williams was doing back in those days, telling everyone that he's here to save the music industry. And yeah, we get it. But yeah, I mean, it's... I guess...
Oh, and continues to this day, as we'll come to.
Yeah. I think I prefer this to My Name Is.
Yes, me
but,
too.
Yeah, I think at the time I would smirk at the video, but I quite like Maybe. So, and, you know, and techno isn't bad, is it? I remember him going, oh, who listens to techno anymore? I'm like, oh, right. Me? Sorry, Eminem. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
I mean, he also slags off Limp Bizkit as well. So yeah, it's just like anyone's a target. Yeah, I like. this song I definitely have fonder memories of, and like I know the first lines of the song. I've created a monster because nobody wants to see. It gets stuck in there. And on re-listening, yeah, there was definitely more stuff that I appreciated, like the extra layers of synth that sometimes come along. So in the chorus, there's this kind of spooky synth, and when he does the "Well, I'm back," there's the
very
little
playful,
Batman
isn't
thing.
it? Playful sort of like
Very playful, and even the whole like, so this must mean I'm disgusting, but it's just me, I'm just obscene. Like you can't help but smile. So yeah, that's why I think like I prefer this to My Name Is. And even like the self-awareness of, though I'm not the first king of controversy, I am the worst thing since Elvis Presley to do black music so selfishly and use it to get myself wealthy. Like I never really listened to those lyrics, but yeah, it's like it's fine. It's fine as a song, and as I said to you before the recording, I didn't get a chance to rewatch any of the Eminem music videos. But is this the one where the woman bites into the onion ring and her spit is there? Because that one really disgusted me.
I don't remember. It cuts to him like being in a mental institution, I think, most of the time, and being in the car with Dr. Dre, nodding.
Okay, like nodding the head. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So definitely an improvement, but I'm not like I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to the song, but this might be a fun one to try at karaoke.
Yeah, I guess when the chorus cuts in, and it's probably one of the better tracks. But moving on to for later, Eminem with 2010, we have "Love the Way You Lie" featuring Rihanna from the Recovery album. I guess he had drug issues in the noughties. I think it's addicted to paracetamol, or the stronger version probably paracetamol.
I'm sure that's an addiction, but like just
one of those naughty American painkillers we don't have in the UK.
Yeah, exactly.
So again, this is the best-selling album of 2010. Still selling all those years later.
Wow. Okay.
Critically acclaimed, his best album since the Eminem Show, apparently. And it's his first big collaboration with a pop star.
Mm-hmm.
So this actually mentions about abusive relationships, and Rihanna was having one with Chris Brown, so it made I guess she felt a connection.
Yeah, she said that was the reason why she decided, because I think he wanted Rihanna on the track, and she said that when she saw that would be the theme, that's why she agreed.
It was written and sung by Skylar Grey, who wrote the chorus as well, so not credited. Well, credited, but you wouldn't know about it. I think most people assume that like Rihanna would have written that chorus. One of Eminem's best-selling singles today. The video has Megan Fox and Dominic Monaghan from the Lord of the Rings fame. Yeah, it's one of those songs when like I just remember the chorus. Like, the chorus makes it. It's I guess it's a more cynical Eminem. He does this later on with other artists we can talk about, but it's just when he was borrowing from the pop music to lift his career, because having one of the biggest pop stars singing a very catchy song, a catchy chorus is going to lift any hip hop track. But it's his I guess this is in the top 10 tracks. Is that just because of the chorus? Probably. But yeah, I quite like this. This is also the for dark-haired years of Eminem.
Slim Shady Blonde had gone.
So what are your thoughts on "Love the Way You Lie"?
Yeah, I mean, my memory for pop music in the early 2010s is quite limited, but I do remember this song well. I think the contrast of their voices works really well because, again, it's Eminem being and Rihanna being not that.
Yes.
But I think the beat feels really sappy and bland, and I really felt absolutely nothing when re-listening. Like, definitely the chorus is better, but even the chorus, I'm like, it's not revolutionary. It's not going to change the world. And I actually this was a song where I was like, I think maybe with Eminem, the problem is a lot of the time that the beat isn't that good. Like when the beat is good, it's good. But so many times it's like, it's so uninspiring. I mean, okay, he has a very strong voice and that can dominate, but that doesn't mean that you can't have something a bit more moving and inspiring underneath. He doesn't have to dominate it. So not my cuppa.
No, because Alex, the kid, that probably is not his real name, he kept saying that his production style was to add live elements. So he'd add live guitar and keyboards, but you can't really hear it. It's kind of buried down. So this is perfectly fine. But moving on to probably his most famous track, which is "You've Got to Lose Yourself" from 8 Mile. I remember working in the cinema when 8 Mile came on, and that was a fun time because a lot of Facebook apps folded rim as they did back in those days.
Right.
I remember literally confiscating like the cider and beer from all the teenagers because obviously when you sit down in the cinema, you have to get drunk. That's the perfect way of watching 8 Mile.
Yeah.
So bad memories for working with 8 Mile in 2003. Obviously the song, like the film, is kind of based ish on his life. I guess this mix is hip hop and rock, a bit more like Beastie Boys sort of thing, addresses.
Yeah, I was trying to find. Do you know like who composed the beat?
No,
or if it samples anything.
Oh, I think it's Jeff Bass, who he's worked with quite a lot in the early days. The Bass brothers are his. When he didn't have Dre, he had Mr. Bass working with him. It won an Oscar. The first hip hop track to win an Oscar, and was number 1 around the whole world. And it proves he can rap without swearing. So thank you, Eminem, for
I didn't even realise.
But what is interesting is that I don't think he's done a film since. And he wasn't crucified for being a bad actor like Prince or Britney Spears or other people similar.
But I think maybe because it was based on his life, it was so clearly semi-autobiographical. Maybe he's like, if it's that, I'll do it. Or maybe he had like a bad experience film, like like Bjork did with freaking Lars von Trier.
Imagine Eminem working with Lars von Trier. Nymphomania 3. But
did you see part 1 and 2 at the cinema? I did.
I watched Antichrist. That's the last film I saw of his. I thought, yeah, I'm okay.
I haven't seen Antichrist, but I know a pivotal scene in it, and I'm like, that puts me off wanting to go and watch Antichrist. But yeah, he's had allegations against him now, which kind of taints him for me, unfortunately. But yeah, I saw Nymphomania 1 and 2 in the cinema, and I did enjoy them. But I do have a friend who did go and see Nymphomania Part 2, and there was a couple having some frisky times while she was there, which is not great.
Oh, love your stuff, guys. Thank you.
Love your stuff. But to go back, yeah, this song is really good. You can't deny it. I think this song is an absolute banger. I only saw 8 Mile about 4 or 5 years ago because again, I was just like, I don't really like Eminem. He's not really for me. It's about his life. Why should I care? Kind of thing. But actually, I thought it was really good and mostly holds up. Kim Basinger, right, is plays his mom and Brittany Murphy. The lyrics are so catchy. Again, and this is where you're like, you really admire his flow. And yeah, I was surprised to read that it was written on set during breaks while filming 8 Mile. So like, I don't know at what stage it then kind of became part of it. And I think his daughter was young. Well, yeah, his daughter, who by the way is now married and pregnant, which is crazy. Really? His oldest daughter, Haley, 28. So yeah, I think it was a busy time for him as well. But obviously, yeah, what I enjoyed reading about was the fact that Mum Spaghetti has obviously become like quite a memed lyric. He now opened a restaurant in Detroit called Mum Spaghetti based on the line from this song. But yeah, I really wish more Eminem songs were like this because it feels properly introspective without like lashing out at any. Well, he still lashes out at his mum, I think, but yeah, he's not punching down. He's just thinking about life, and his voice here is much more controlled. Like you have much more variety between, especially kind of the verses and the chorus. So yeah, if there was more of this, I think I would like Eminem.
Maybe because music is so powerful, he could step back a bit with his voice, maybe, and give it some room. But yeah, it's still a classic track, and I heard it in the toilets of Cineworld just this weekend. So
there we go.
Over underrated.
Moving on to his other massive track, we have Stan from 2000 from the Eminem LP. This is quite a turn because obviously before that we had all his cartoony, dissing tracks, and we actually had a track which had some sort of meaning to it. Obviously, this is about addressing his critics and fans, and obviously it's about a fan writing letters to how he's changed his life and how he wants to be him, and then going down a downward spiral. And before Eminem can reply, he's killed his wife and kids. Played by the guy from Final Destination.
Yep, Devin.
Yes, apparently Dr. Dre wanted to be Macaulay Culkin, but he then saw Final Destination and changed his mind. It's probably a good thing to do.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting. And Dido herself is there as well.
Yes, and Dido. Yeah, Dido. I had no idea that "Thank You," the song he samples, was in Sliding Doors, the film Sliding Doors.
I can't remember.
I thought this happened before she released a single Thank You, but I think she just re-released Thank You after obviously the success of Stan. And it's also interesting because he doesn't. It's not the chorus, is it? It's the verse of Thank You. The chorus of Thank You is quite even bland, so it's quite interesting that he's using the opening verse rather than the actual chorus. No, it's a fantastic hip hop track with a message, and then, as you mentioned earlier, he would then go on stage with Elton John to perform it at the Grammys, and at the time there was a lot of homophobia flying around. So the fact that Elton John shook his hand was I guess saying that he's not really a homophobe, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I even saw a clip of Elton John being like, "Oh, people are accusing him of being homophobic," which of course was nonsense, and it's like. Have you seen his lyrics? And then the defense that Eminem had was like, which is partially true, and I remember this. It's like people would use things like gay in a negative context, but it wouldn't necessarily be about gay people. But it's like, you're not just doing that. You are calling like people the F word when that is not a compliment,
And he'd also hide behind the Slim Shady moniker as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in this day and age, like I was having this debate with someone recently about, Almari pub landlord thing, where it's like, yes, that is a character. However, many people who like it don't get the irony, and then it's a problem, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, this song is another classic, and again, sprouting a whole term, stan, to mean stan culture and obsessive fans and everything. That's where it comes from, standing a band and an artist. And even, I didn't think about this, but Wikipedia said it's been suggested that the name Stan is a portmanteau of the words stalker and fan, but it's unknown if the name was chosen with that intention. But yeah, this song is a full freaking story with a twist. And like, here, this is the best of Eminem's range. He is so calm at the beginning, and then he gets riled up, and then comes back as himself. And you can tell, like, there is a difference in his voice between when he's being Eminem and when he's being the character Stan. But yeah, interestingly, I read that, like, apparently the recording engineer in the studio was high. So when he did the final verse, he didn't record it properly or, like, taped over it. And Eminem was really annoyed that he had to record it again. And he said that the first time he did it was much better. But I listened to it and I'm like, no, it still sounds... It still sounds great. And like, yeah, the bass line's great. The scribbling sounds to replicate the letters, the rain sounds, even the whole, screaming car crash and splash at the end. Yeah, it's like hip hop opera almost, I think, because yeah, it's a whole storyline. And yeah, I mean, I can't remember the first time I heard it, but when you realize what's happening and the fact that it ends with him going, damn. It's it is a good song.
Yeah, I guess it showed that he is more of a mature artist than we thought initially.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even now, do we really know many hip hop tracks who have a similar sort of like story and depth? I don't really know.
Well, do you know, the only one I can think of is Trapped in the Closet by R. Kelly, where that's a whole
that's a big message. Okay, moving on from
moving very far away from R. Kelly.
Is something more beautiful, which is a single from 2009, his comeback album after being away for 5 years, as mentioned before, his addiction issues. He wrote this song whilst before he was sober, and wrote the last verse when he was sober. So this is a 5-year span. But this is for me the bad Eminem.
And Paul Rodgers is there for some
reason. Yeah, so it samples. So there's a Northern Irish band called Therapy, who I only really sort of kind of know. And yeah, so it samples a Therapy song, Reaching Out, but it's not their version. It's the Paul Rodgers and Queen cover, which is sampled.
That's why
odd to sample a cover version of it. So yeah, it's another like you couldn't walk in my shoes kind of tripe. This has been done a million times, and the video shows like Detroit was like one of the most successful industries in the whole of America. Then it fell from grace, and like look, and I'm Eminem, life form from grace. Look at my links, and he's sitting in front of like a demolished like buildings and awful parts of Detroit with his new black hair. It's all a bit cliche for me, unfortunately. And then the power ballad bit comes in at the end, and it's like, oh no, thank you. It's pedestrian shite for me. And there's so many songs called Beautiful, which are never beautiful or just embarrassing, and I guess I can put that in that collection. How about you?
Well, now I've got Beautiful by Pharrell Williams stuck in my head, which is very, very different vibes. Yeah, I like the kind of lyrical evolution. Again, the self-loathing of, Marshall, you're so funny, man. You should be a comedian, goddamn. Unfortunately, I am. I just hide behind the tears of a clown. And yeah, I mean, good for him for going through rehab and everything. Happy for him. It did make me think, like, he was very honest, like very honest in a way that, like, how many hip hop lyricists are. Like, I mean, yeah, you've got a million indie sad boys and acoustic guitar people, and I'm thinking about, how, this year has been the year of mostly Chappell Roan and Charlie, and how they're so honest, writing about themselves and their feelings. And yeah, Eminem was really doing it back in the day. But yeah, it is, like you say, always with the whole, like, with a bit of ego, with a bit of self-aggrandizement, even though, I mean, in a way warranted, right? Like, he is Fran, the 11th most popular artist in the world
still today.
I went on Spotify today, and that's the ranking it gave me. I saw a top 10 US Billboard around the time that his latest album came out, and it just went very high. And there were a bunch of, this has really been the year of the female pop star, and there were so many men on this top 10, like so many of them I hadn't even heard of. And this basically gay guy was like, who is listening to this music? What is going on? Like, I've not heard any of these people. But still, Eminem clearly has, like, a very loyal fan base, doesn't he? Yeah. But I felt nothing musically. I found the beat really boring and his voice abrasive.
So on a similar vibe for me, we have The River featuring Ed Sheeran. So again, he's gone to the modern big pop stars of 2018
to do the chorus,
and I have no memory of this ever happening. This was his anti-Trump album. Yeah, again, like Stan, there's a story there. It's a very odd story. So it's about a couple having issues, and then the guy cheats on the girl, so then the girl wants to get revenge, so he has sex with Eminem, and then Eminem makes her pregnant, and then Eminem kind of forces her to have an abortion. It's a very odd story.
That's it.
But that's The River, so I don't know where that came from, if that's based on true, if that's a random story. But yeah, it's kind of strange, Eminem discussing abortion, but I guess, he does talk about other dark topics. And then he brings in Ed Sheeran to stand in the rain in the video, obviously, and then sing like an emotional.
You bloody hope Ed Sheeran's well.
Sing an emotional chorus, but it's quite nice for Ed Sheeran. Apparently, he's been a fan since he's 11 years old, so it's always his dream to sing with Eminem. So that's great. But it's got over 200 million hits on YouTube. It's a gigantic song that I have no recollection of at all. And yeah, the Ed Sheeran bit's good if like Ed Sheeran, but the whole thing it's all a bit too much.
Good for Ed Sheeran. I'm
good for Ed Sheeran fans. Sorry,
Ed Sheeran.
Again, the video it's Eminem acting again. He does his acting rap opera. So I guess this is kind of a little bit like Stan Part 2 in a way, but it wasn't for me. Was it for you?
Yeah, it's definitely not as kind of like epic as Stan, I would say. I think this once again has very catchy lyrics. I'm going to read some out. He's coming home with his neck scratched to catch flack, sweat jackets and dress slacks mismatched. Honest breaths, Jack. He's a sex addict and she just wants to exact revenge and get back. Like, that is freaking difficult to say. And that's 4 lines. So again, when you can get into the flow, it's really good. And I also wrote, like, it is interesting that he's rapping about abortion. How many male artists do this, even though it's like, because there's that implication of like he made her do it, like whether it's like he made her do it or like because she then hated him so much she just wanted to do it because she didn't want anything to do with him. It's quite nasty, but there I'm like, it's nasty, but like maybe it is the truth. But like, I think stuff like this does happen, so again, shouldn't we write about it? I don't know. The feminist side of me is not happy about it, but I'm the free speech side of me is like, fair enough. But again, the beat is so boring, so I'm so bored. The only bit that's interesting is that little Ed Sheeran breakdown where it goes or whatever it is. That I enjoyed, but just honestly, every time I'm listening to the beat, I'm like uninspiring bland.
Think about the Ed Sheeran chorus, it wouldn't go anywhere. Is that what made it a hit?
I think definitely the Ed Sheeran because again, like Eminem's voice can be so intense. It is a nice break. It's fine. Like you say, the chorus is fine. He's playing his guitar. He's got his English accent. It's fine, but nothing to write home about.
So on to Toy Soldiers from Encore 2004. So I loved this song in the late 80s. as a Martika fan, so I was delighted that Eminem was bringing back Martika to a new generation. But yeah, I think the lyrics are a bit more simplistic. This is his least favorite album from the critics. He got slated a bit, but it was. I guess that's why he went to rehab. So I guess he wasn't really with it as much with this album as previously, Treading Water. So yeah, we mentioned that he has a lot of beefs, and this is the track where he's trying to he's trying to solve his beefs with like J. Rule and
the Beyond
50 Cent at all, trying to say, hey guys, let's all work together. So yeah, it was trying to be a new Eminem. I like the Ministry beat. It does add a certain something to it. And the 80s power hook does deliver. Yeah, I think it's the best track off the album. One of the good things is that it meant that they released Martika's Greatest Hits again, which was great. But
tell me more about Martika, because I didn't know the original, and I think I did know it was sampled and did listen to the song a few years ago.
It's a sped up version. So Martika was one of Prince's what's what I'm looking for? Apprentices. Prodigy, yeah. He had quite a few female singers in the late 80s. He would have one every 2 years. Who knows why? And Martika was another one who had a song called Martika's Kitchen. And her other hit was Toy Soldier, and she had another ballad. So yes, he's one of those artists, a bit like Debbie Gibson, who had like 3 like massive hits and then just vanished and face to the earth, and then came back when Eminem remembered the song 15 years later. So that's Martika. But yeah, I think without the chorus, I'm not sure how great this track is. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, see, I didn't know the original. I did know the song from the time, and yeah, I didn't like it then. I didn't like it now. I think the beat is quite boring and repetitive. Again, the chorus at least gives a contrast, which is nice, and I'd never once listened to the lyrics, so it was interesting to hear him sound again more mellow and trying not to rise to violence and hey guys, let's all be adults here.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you see what your next song is going to be, you're like, oh yeah, like nice try, but I don't really believe it.
And then we will finish with his most recent track, Houdini, from this year. And again, he's done a similar thing as he did with Toy Soldiers. He is rapping over a hit, but I guess this is probably his most famous song that he sampled, because Abracadabra is
I
massive.
could not believe it, because I'd never heard Houdini, and I was like, it's so obviously a sample. I can't believe the audacity of it, in a way, like in a good way.
And I think Fatboy Slim said, if you're going to sample a hidden gem and give it a new piece of life, like doing a song that everyone already knows, it's lazy in a way, because people know Abracadabra. So but in the video, he's parodying his old self, the Slim Shady vibe. He's back in the superhero suit with Dr. Dre, and he's back again. But yeah, this is Eminem for a new audience maybe, but it's all a bit too play safe for me. It's I'm sure it'll be a hit because it's catchy as fuck to have Abracadabra playing in the background, but it's all a bit too easy for me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like I said, I lost my mind when it was Abracadabra, because I was just like never would I've put him together with Steve Miller, who then praised Eminem for something and was like, oh yeah, like
for the money.
Always, yeah, pushing boundaries, whatever, like blah blah blah. And yeah, I think it's smart, right? I think it's smart how it's like, well, you're interpolating a bunch of your old songs, but like you say, for a new audience. So it, like, in a way, it kind of makes sense that he would choose a song that's even older than his songs for a new song which is referencing it. It feels very, very meta. So I don't mind so much that he's sampling Abracadabra, but what I do mind are, of course, his lyrics, because here it's just freaking appalling. He says, my transgender cat Siamese identifies as black but acts Chinese. Cancel me what? Okay, that's it. Go ahead, Paul. Quit. Snake ass prick. You male cross-dresser fake ass bitch. Do you know about the Megan Thee Stallion, Tory Lanez, or however you pronounce it, Lane's thing?
No, I should have probably read the lyrics as I never do. But
well, yeah. So just to give you a little pop culture update. So Megan Thee Stallion, I think, was at a party with this rapper called Tory Lanez. Well, it's spelled like Lanez, like Lanez, but I don't even know how to pronounce it. So Tory Lanez, let's say, and he shot her in the foot.
Okay.
Right, which is obviously awful. And like Eminem makes fun of it, and he's not the only one. Like quite a few male rappers have made fun of it. So he says like, whether a collaboration with Megan Thee Stallion would give Eminem a shot at a feat. And it's just like, that's so horrible. And she's written about how like horrendous it is. And it's just like, you are like, I don't know, a 50-something-year-old man about to become a granddad, and you're making fun of this talented, black woman rapper. I can't be dealing with it. Like, I just, come on, it just feels like you are saying this because all the people who love that kind of stuff are going to be like, ha, he really is back. Ooh, we really needed it. And like, yeah, probably for him it's irony, but yeah, I can't accept it. And yeah, just the contrast with cupcakes lyrics coming up and who she supports is massive.
So would you prefer him to be doing The River, which he was previously, or doing the cartoon Eminem, which Eminem is like?
Oh, neither. Or somewhere in between, right?
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, I mean, that's it. It's like, especially given, okay, it's like, I can appreciate, like I said, what he's doing with the beat, but like you say, it is a bit play it safe because it's not reinventing the wheel musically. You'd hope that lyrically it would, but no, it's not. It's more of the same.
Yeah, I guess, what could Eminem 2020s be, really, is the question.
Oh, like how amazing would it be if he turned into a rock star? Do a bit more rock, a bit more like Lose Yourself, sing with a rock band, the equivalent of Rick Astley and Blossoms. I don't know. Yeah, Eminem and Beastie Boys, or who's remaining, something like that. That would be way more interesting.
Well, if you're listening, Eminem, that's your next direction.
Yeah, me, your A&R woman who really wants this job.
So I guess I should ask a question to you. So Eminem, you're saying he's the 11th biggest artist in the world. Is he overrated?
I think he's wildly overrated, really wildly overrated. Like I said, in terms of making an audience that didn't previously like hip hop, fair enough. But like I said, he put me off an entire genre. He doesn't seem to have learnt from his lessons, or is just kind of doing more of the same. And, there were songs on your playlist that I enjoyed, but none of the songs that I didn't know did I enjoy. And some of the songs that I did know I really didn't like. So, yeah, I mean, I know that wasn't the point of your playlist to kind of find 10 Eminem songs that I would like. I'm sure they're out there, but yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it, like, unless you have the mentality of a teenage boy, I think, really.
He has 18 million followers on Spotify. And I just had a quick look, and that's more than Jay-Z, Kendrick Lamar. Do you know, Jay-Z's only got 37, so he's got, I thought he'd be a lot higher.
He hasn't put out new music in a while, has he? Yeah.
But yeah, so it's hard because, is he overrated? I mean, for me, I probably know more Eminem songs. Are they all terrible? No. I think he just sits maybe slightly underneath overrated. I wouldn't I wouldn't pay money to go and see Eminem, but I'm always curious when he releases something. Although it turns out I have missed a lot of his big tracks in the past 15 years. So yeah, just slightly under overrated for me.
But definitely not underrated.
Yeah, he's definitely not underrated. Okay.
Someone I think with videos of over 2 billion.
Yeah. He's doing okay.
He's doing all right.
That's the end of part 1.
Do you like music and do you like podcasts? Chances are you like music podcasts. Take this one for example, Pick a Disc. I'm Matt Latham, and every fortnight a guest comes on to Pick a Disc to talk about an album for any reason that they want to. They'll talk about the album as a whole, we talk about the songs, we talk about any personal stories about the album, and if they've ever seen the band live, and all sorts of other crazy tangents. And if at any point any of that made you want to listen to Pick a Disc, then you can find us on your podcast apps of choice, or on the Facebooks and Twitters and Instagram under Pick a Disc. We're also on the We Made This Podcast Network on WeMadeThisNetwork.com, and on Twitter at @we_made_this. Goodbye.
Underrated.
Welcome back to part 2, where we're now going to be talking about one of my favourite hip-hop acts. So, I mentioned in part 1 that acts like Eminem and 50 Cent put me off hip-hop. I'd say in the last 5 or 6 years, I've realised that there is a lot more hip-hop out there than what's in the mainstream, and I've gotten into a lot more acts. But I will say, as a general rule with hip-hop, I don't get so much into like albums in the same way that I do with rock music. We'll get into songs.
Mm-hmm.
Today's hip hop underrated act that I picked, cupcakKe, I have heard most of her discography, even if not obsessively. So I think I discovered her either through like an online publication talking about one of her songs, or Charlie XCX, because she's featured on 2 songs of hers. I love cupcakKe for many reasons. I think she's very honest, whether she's talking about sex or quite serious issues like racism, sexism, sexual abuse. I think she's really funny. I think she has a really great flow. I like the fact that she's a bigger lady who's always wearing extremely fashionable clothes and isn't trying to cover up. And again, how funny she is. And yet it was interesting because I'd never kind of sought out interviews with her or anything like that. I think because I follow her on social media and she's quite larger than life already. So it was interesting to go and see kind of her in her own words. And yeah, she said that there's like 3 different people. There's Elizabeth. She says Elizabeth is a homebody, don't want to go out. She's just chill and more laid back, intelligent. Then you have Marilyn Monroe. She's like an internet troll, says the wildest shit whenever she feels, don't give a fuck attitude. Then you have cupcakKe. She's the performer, she's the sexual side, she's the freak. cupcakKe wants to go out, wants to be seen. And yeah, I just really admire her. Like, she has been through it. She's been homeless, she's lived in shelters, she's had like horrendous older men hit on her, and yeah, we'll come to that later. But she says, I'm not the only one who should know this, the world should know, so that the next girl who would know how to deal with it when the situation comes to her. Your voice is very powerful and I try and use mine wisely. And yeah, she says that, you know, she thinks she has this massive LGBT following, and she says that she thinks she has it because she talks about pleasure and pain. And she says that that resonates a lot with the LGBT community, often who've gone through a lot of trauma. And the fact that she's very open is why she thinks they're so attracted to her. Now, yeah, I know that like she can't exactly, a lot of the songs can't exactly be played on the radio. And I know that she is somewhat big on TikTok, but I do feel like for someone who has kind of both such good songs and such funny lyrics, she should be a bit bigger than she is. Like, I think no one I know has heard of cupcakKe unless they know Charlie XCX, basically. Like, no one has ever brought her up, ever seen her videos as far as I know. And she's got some healthy numbers, but it does feel very like LGBT people on the internet numbers, not a broader audience. And yeah, I really wish she had one. And yeah, she's still very young. She's still only 27. By the time she was 21, she had 6 albums, mixtapes. Like, she had this very, very productive time and then kind of slowed down. So yeah, I just basically wish her the best. How about you, Fran? How did you find out about cupcakKe?
My co-host on the Underrated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just looked. Yeah, she's got 2.2 million, which is okay, but when you compare it to like Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion, they've got like 30, so it's a long way away. And she's been going like 7 years now, is it 8 years something? So,
yeah, 8 years I think, 8-9 years.
Yeah, so she's been going some time. So yeah, obviously this isn't my usual
foray.
Listening app foray. I felt a bit naughty walking through Tesco, listening to these lyrics.
Picking up a courgette, putting it back down.
I don't think anyone. I said I felt like I had like some stolen dildos in my coat pocket. Yeah, I knew what I was getting into, and I guess sometimes when I'm analysing these tracks, there's not much more I can really say because a lot of them do have a similar kind of vibe. So I will do my best. So you have to hold my hand.
Of course, I'll hold your hand, and it's really your hand and no other part of your body that I'm holding. I give you consent
to lead me down this cupcakKe playlist. So where are we starting?
Yes. We are starting with Crayons, which I think was the first kind of non-featured song that I'd heard of hers. So Crayons, it's all about LGBT rights. Crayons probably refers to the LGBT flag. It's just a catchy song. Though there is a saxophone, Fran. So I'm ready. I'm ready. There's a saxophone motif, but the chorus basically is boy on boy, girl on girl, like who the fuck you like, fuck the world. And there's so many good lines. I'd be here all day, but lesbian, go ahead and eat it. Get the dildo and Michael Jackson beat it. Get that pussy upset, get it, heat it. I'm
so happy that you're doing these raps.
Yeah, I'll be doing all the raps, and apologies again to hip hop fans and cupcakKe fans. I love the fact that there's a little section where it's about her going to a gay bar with her partner, her boyfriend, and this girl trying to pick them up as a couple. And she's like, it's fine. She literally says, ain't no confusion, everybody human, get to know people instead of just assuming. Yeah, in conclusion, the gays ain't losing, like Boomerang, because I'm all about the movement. So it's a feel-good song. The video, it's like a gay couple getting a bit picked on by this other guy, but then suddenly this crowd of LGBT people and allies comes along, and and she's wearing a fantastic in the video. She's wearing like a sort of fake fur coat that has fairy lights. So when the lights go off, it kind of flashes. Yeah, very very impressive stuff. So what did you think of Crayons?
I put Middle Eastern funk. It's just quite a similar production. A lot of these tracks, there's a lot of like sort of Mid Eastern sort of like bongos and percussion like happening. So I thought it was quite interesting. But who needs homophobia? No, we are the world is what Michael Jackson once said, isn't it? Yeah, it's a catchy as fuck chorus. A lot of songs are short, sweet, and catchy. She gets to the point and gets the fuck out of there.
Yeah,
which I admire. Out. I mean, going to a gig would be like short as fuck. You'd be over in half an hour.
I want to see her live so badly, but she only ever seems to tour the US, which is
I saw
very
her on
annoying.
Lollapalooza on YouTube, and she sounds as perfect on live. So yeah.
See, I haven't because I'm scared because I like her so much that I'm like, maybe. But if you're saying it's worth checking out, then
sometimes it was a car crash, but no, it seemed to be. I mean, she's playing like in the daytime in Lollapalooza, and loads of like placards saying how much they fucking love us. The
YouTube comments on her videos are wonderful to read.
I mean, of course, to me, remind me of Girls and Boys by Blur. I'm pretty sure she's never heard it. Boys and Boys and Girls and Girls, but
you never know. It's the update.
I agree that Skittles should be at all the bars, and I think Skittles should be sponsoring her campaign, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
When I put down, it's a shame there isn't a PG version, because this would be beautiful for educating school kids.
But you can still shout of it. Transgenders are people, so I'm gonna treat them equal. Like, she means it. That's it. Like, where Eminem has aggression for kind of hatred, she's there like, you'd better support me. support my friends.
But I guess also she's a younger person, so. Yes. It's not surprising that she's, she's pro LGBT and pro.
Although she did start out in the church, right? I don't know if you read that, but,
yes, I did. Yeah.
Which so many musicians do, and again, like Lil Nas X as well, and he references it in his songs, and he's openly gay. But okay, I'm glad that you at least found the chorus catchy. That's what I hoped.
So moving on to another lovely subject.
Yes.
Do you know what? When I was researching this, I sometimes use my work laptop, but for her, I thought, I'll move on to my PC.
So this song is called Pedophile, the American pronunciation. And I put it immediately second because it's like, I do think cupcakKe because she's like, the songs that are about sex are so graphic. I think she does get pigeonholed. When it's like, no, she's just like that about everything. It doesn't matter what topic it is. And this song is very likely about something that happened to her, about getting sexually abused. But the amazing thing is, like, this is like the visceral side to cupcakKe. It still sounds very catchy. Literally, the chorus is saying, promise me you won't tell, just promise me you won't tell if I take you to the hotel. And you're like, you're bopping along to this song. And then you're like, should I be bopping along? I guess I should, because, she's telling me to. And the lyrics are really kind of amazing, I find, because it feels like it's her journey in accepting what happened to her, where it's like she's a victim, but then she's like, actually fuck off, you picked me, but I'm not. And I'd never seen the music video before. Did you watch this one?
Well, it seemed quite low rent. It's just her on a swing, wasn't it? With
her on a swing with a friend. But I was really kind of touched by it because I hadn't seen this one before. And because, the fact that she's on a playground for me signifies that she's a child. She's upset and her friend comes to comfort her. And then at the end, they're kind of smiling and swinging on the swings, which I guess is the whole kind of like, there are people out there who can support you. And I really was quite moved by it. But yes, the production value on videos changes wildly on cupcakKe. And because we're in 2016 here, it's still, one outfit, one location.
It's had like 6.7 million views. It's done all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what? It just reminded a bit of Alanis Morissette, You Ought to Know. Same sort of vibes of having like an older guy keeping her a secret and then, taking advantage of her. Because that start of the song, I think she's happy that she's met an older guy. And then slowly, she realises the truth that he's just using it, basically. Yeah. It's a similar story. But you can't get that chorus out your head again.
Yeah.
And that's why I asked who produced it, because I was interested to know, does he have the same producer? But because I kind of like that sort of like Middle Eastern sort of sounds. I wondered, is it herself or I don't know who has
This
great
apparently
songs?
is Energy Brooks.
Energy Brooks, but is that the same person for all that era, or has it changed?
Well, not so. Again, when I'm just going on Genius, so Energy Brooks, he's produced other songs by Cupcake, including Juicy Coochie and Best Dick Sucker. By the way, Fran, you'll be delighted to hear. But yeah, I think she's very producer agnostic, because when I've seen other producers where it's like, again, they will produce a lot of Cupcake songs, but then you go and you can't find other people. I mean, I guess because she's like a bit less now, but she was a small independent artist. I mean, you're going to work with whoever you can. And again, making the comparisons to Lil Nas X, maybe it's like she would go on those kind of Beats libraries and buy stuff and then kind of collaborate later. But yeah, I'd never heard of Energy Brooks until just now.
Big up.
Big up.
So moving on to Typo from 2020.
Yes. So I picked this one, like, not necessarily because it's one of my favorites. I think it's fairly good, but I think this should be a bigger song for sure. It definitely sounds like Fancy by Iggy Azalea, and it's even referenced in the song. She says, "When it comes to the dick, I can be picky, because the pussy act fancy, you can ask Iggy." But there, it's got that Middle Eastern production again, which I think you like. And yeah, again, I'm here for the lyrics on this one. He's a good snacker, packer, after napper, twat, make him feel good like soup and crackers, smacker, whacker, inside out, backwards, wanna feel her hands in this pussy, come dapper. Just, I am charmed. I know she's talking about sex, but because she does it in such a funny way, I'm just like, it hits you first with like the suggestivity, and then you laugh at the cleverness. I'm in awe. But what did you think of this Type O?
I felt old, and I have some words, so I have no idea what they mean. Like, what is a mukbang?
Oh, mukbang, it's that website where people pay to watch people eat food.
Thank you. What's a Kate plus 8?
Oh, no idea.
What's an Onika?
Oh, Onika, I think, is Nicki Minaj's real name.
Thank you. It's a reference to that. I have no idea. I put fuck, I feel old, and I've never fingered anyone like a typo. It's a little bit, the hook's catchy, but it's a little bit more tedious than the previous tracks I put. It's definitely filthy, and people on the YouTube comments are always mentioning about, she's more than just a comedic rapper. And yeah, I put down, her flow is insanely catchy, and and that's why I wanted to watch it live to see if it was the same as live. And she sort of does it, and she can put so many words per minute. It's insane. So is she signed to a major now? Because she seems to have a lot more money in her videos in the last couple of years.
I think she's still an independent artist, but yeah, I'm gonna see.
Because I wonder how they try to market her. Because as you said, I don't really know TikTok, but does TikTok not allow swear words or certain phrases? Or
I think it's gonna it's gonna ban them. Maybe this is why I think with TikTok, as long as it's not in the subtitles kind of thing, like how some people, they'll put like a little emoji of corn when they're saying porn or other things. But I think I have read how she is really big on TikTok, which doesn't surprise me at all. I am trying desperately to search the internet. Yeah, like every single one of her things seems to be not on label.
Yeah, because looking at the video, especially for the
the latest one.
Yeah. So she obviously is getting some money coming from somewhere.
Well, the thing is, I haven't mentioned this, but yeah, so she hasn't done this in a while, but she would frequently on social media be like, right, I'm giving out $10,000, like that. First people, and it's like, and I think on another song we've got coming up later, there was a guy who was in the music video, and that's the top comment on YouTube, where he was like, I was in the video, she's one of the nicest people in the world. I know she's had kind of gambling issues before, and that's that caused some of her kind of the peak of her mental health problems, which we'll come to. But she just seems like a really nice person. That's it. I don't know how much money she can make from streaming and stuff, because it's like, can you buy, I haven't even tried to buy a Cupcake CD before, although I happily would, and I would happily buy some merch. But would I wear it anywhere not outside the house? Who knows? Stay tuned. But I don't know where she gets the money from, but I just hope she's happy.
Double homicide.
So this is from her latest album, Dauntless Manifesto. So it's her first album in a while. And obviously I was quite excited as a fan to get this album. And I was quite disappointed on a first listen through, because I think it is quite an experimental album. She's throwing a lot of stuff at the wall. But on a second listen through, I realised it's basically because I don't like apart from the first track, I don't like the first 4 or 5 songs. Then it gets much better. And when I got to this one, I was like, oh, this is an evolution of sound for sure. Because yeah, it's kind of 2 songs in one. And I think the switch up in the song is really unexpected, and I like both parts. And her flow is incredible. And I picked this one because I thought, given what you say you often don't like about hip hop is that it's the same beat throughout, this song is a little bit different. And my favourite lyric is, all that motherfucking cap, use it on the keyboard, and I bet this bitch still be lowercase.
But yeah, you're right. This is divided kind of into 2 sections, isn't it? To make it interesting. So the first part is, I guess, her normal, like, energetic, ultra flow, and then the second half is kind of like a nursery rhyme sort of chains and up tempo. And I put down here, like, could this rival the Eminem rap god for the amount of words in a minute? And it's
so fast.
And because I'm a nerd, I counted 242 words in 50 seconds, which is not too bad. Not too
shabby.
And I enjoy the extra guah, buh, and whistles in the second section. So yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, it's nice how she, again, it's like 2.5 minutes maybe, and she does so much
almost not even,
in all that time. So yeah, so she's definitely got a lot of talent, and yeah, I definitely enjoyed how fast she could hit those rhymes.
If anything, it's impressive, right? I think sometimes that's it with rap, even though it's like, maybe sometimes, for us at least, not always music that you put on to kind of listen and be reflective. Like you have to admire the talent. And yeah, that's with Eminem, I admire that, but with her even more. And we haven't even mentioned, Fran, speaking of kind of different sounds, that you know that her fans are called slurpers. Because you didn't know that. Okay, so I haven't picked that many songs, but the sound is in a lot of her songs, like especially when she's talking about sucking dick. So yeah, she loves to put in a little sound.
Do you want me to put a slurp in audio wise now?
Please do now.
Lovely stuff. Speaking of slurping, good puss.
I wanted to picture a song that CupcakKe features on, which is, I know, a little bit against the rules perhaps, but she has featured on so many songs. And when I first got into CupcakKe, like, I really went throughout, who was featuring her, all sorts of people. And actually, like, yeah, a lot of them have been kind of removed off the internet. And even the music video to Crayons, it was from an account called like YouTube Archives, because it had been deleted, I think, by her, but someone had re-uploaded it. So anyway, I went for this one because we love to talk about Swedish music. This is Cobra with Good Puss. I think the song is really good, but I picked this one because I think CupcakKe's verse both is so CupcakKe, but actually really elevates the song, because it is quite a repetitive song, and CupcakKe's verse is just a masterclass. So many funny parts, which I will now read out. He tried to walk up in the pussy, said it's wet like Florida. I told him only Jesus gon' walk up on water. Face getting beat with a D, no tutorial. Creamed on my face like I'm shopping at Sephora. The pussy popping like a balloon at a gender reveal. This ain't no non-profit pussy, bitch. You paying my bills.
There's a lot of Christian values in the song. See God, go to church. I spread good dessert. Thirsty, I squirt. Amen.
Amen. I think someone did write on the YouTube comments like, oh, it's so good that at these end of time someone is making good Christian music. So yeah, I think I picked this one because I was also curious to hear what you thought of the Cobra song and to see whether you agreed with me that CupcakKe really elevates it.
Yeah, I mean, I never heard of Cobra at all, and I put almost Charlie XCX vibes regarding her production.
Yeah. Hyperpop for sure.
I mean, this song is so wet. I said it makes WAP sound dry.
Right? Yeah, she was doing WAP before the WAP.
Yeah, no, this I love. It really hits hard. I've never heard of Cobra. I saw that she's even playing London this week. But yeah, and I put down it's pretty lit. Is that correct?
Oh,
correct
Fran.
Good, thank you very much.
We are so down with the kids.
I am 27 years old.
Yeah, that's so based, which is, I think, good, if I understand correctly. Just, I keep seeing it of like, dude was so based, and I was like, I think I will infer it's good, but it could be bad. Who knows? Who knows?
But yeah, no, it's
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh no, I thought this would be like fucking horrible. I thought this would be like one of the worst experiences of this podcast. I was thinking, is this going to be Tom Waits like that vibes? But no, I was pleasantly surprised doing my shopping last weekend to this. I thought actually, and if it was a track I found tedious, it was gone after 2 minutes.
That's it. And
so,
again, also, you don't have to listen if you don't like the song. Don't bother listening to it 3 times. You don't have to. If you don't like it, you don't like it. But I think, I think we talked about Cupcake because you liked the I Got It song that she featured. Or you were like, oh, I looked her up and she seems quite fun. And I was like, I would have never dared to suggest Cupcake. But the fact that you had like a positive reaction, I was like, okay, let's go. We're off.
But you're right. She's funny, and is it called hypersexuality?
I think
got like a genre
people say that, right? But it's like I don't know. I feel like so many male rappers talk about suck my dick. I mean, not like that. I'd be such a terrible rapper. We really need a properly explicit title on this episode as well. But I mean, I guess it's because it's not just the lyrics; it's the the visuals and everything.
To be fair. In that live video, there's a lot of microphone.
Oh, okay. Now I'm excited. I'm excited to go and look her up now.
Action.
Yeah.
Underrated.
We are back on the LGBT, which is the next pick. I've written, this woman knows how to do a chorus. I would say this is maybe a bit more Japanesey sounding than Middle Eastern, but there's definitely some interesting strings and pipes. And the chorus is, fuck out the way when you see me. I'm rolling with the LGBT. And it's just, it's glorious. The music video, it's just her having a good time with some LGBT people, having, what are they called? Like the flame things that she's throwing around.
The flares, like you get in a football crowd.
Yeah, the flares in a catsuit, having a good time. And I found it quite touching that one of the lyrics is, shout out to the boys, you ain't gotta pick a side. And the YouTube comments are full of people being like, oh my God, like genuinely, like, I heard this and it healed me. I heard this and it made me feel so much better because it's something. I mean, then you have the exaggerated comments of like, it's amazing how Cupcake invented gay people and stuff like that. But yeah, clearly it resonates. And so yeah, this producer I looked up, so this producer is a guy called Def Stars, who's from Croatia, and he's also produced a lot of the other Cupcake songs, including one of I didn't pick necessarily her most famous ones. Duck Duck Goose and Squidward Nose are quite famous. But yeah, I didn't want to go for the big ones. I wanted to go for some of my favorites and make it as palatable for you as possible. And I think, I hope this one is palatable for sure.
In recent times, does she still sing about like LGBT?
In one of the songs that I picked from her last album, she literally goes trans rights. So yeah, she still is. Yeah.
Yeah, I also enjoyed the Eastern pan pipe hook and percussion. It makes me want to roll the LGTB too.
Yeah.
I want to get my hands on those thick coloured flares. I'm not talking about the trousers, baby.
Yeah.
I think it's a great pop track, and it's got 8 million hits on YouTube. Maybe her biggest video, and I'm surprised I've never heard this. But again, I guess this isn't as like I don't know. As 18 plus as other tracks already, so you could probably do this. Yeah.
Not at all.
So surprised that I've not heard it. Anyway, moving on to another word I don't know. What is lemon pepper?
Well, Fran.
Is it like lemonade? Is it that sort
Clearly you haven't looked deeply enough at the lyrics, because the lyrics are, I need some lemon pepper and mild sauce on that dick. Lemon pepper and mild sauce on that dick. If your dick tastes plain, then I'm throwing a fit. My pussy only tastes like water because you're thirsty as shit.
Can I say that no one's ever asked me to put some lemon pepper on my penis?
Has anyone asked you to put any other condiments on there?
Yes, well, obviously HB sauce and Worcestershire sauce as a British person. We always do that.
Hopefully not siracha.
The sting.
I hope not. I wonder what on earth will go out as the social media thing for this episode.
But carry on with lemon pepper.
So this one I really picked for the hilarious lyrics, because I mean I think it's a good song, but I do think here the chorus could have done with a bit more harmonizing or something to mix it up a little bit. But the lyrics, as I've just read out to you, so many good lyrics. The pussy so tight, feel like you fucking a Fruit Loop. I get up on that dick, do a split, then ride slow. Mouth stuffed with meat like I just ate a gyro. Designer everything, bitch. Even my cum is off-white. Boxed on your wrecking balls. Miley wishes she could. Knocked his balls out the park. Now that dick on Tiger Woods. I mean, just she's so funny. She's so funny. And I mean, yeah, we were talking about the Eminem pop culture. I mean, cupcake ramps that up to 11, I think. And yeah, a lot of it is like American pop. I mean, I do know what a Fruit Loop is. Thank you. I can get that reference. But there are so many other things where I'm like, again, you have to go in Genius and like click on the individual lines to get some random person. And yet I hadn't noticed this before, but when you go on an artist, right, like if you go on an artist page on Genius, you have contributors and they're called scholars. So it would be like top cupcake scholars, and I'm like, imagine if you could study cupcake at university. I would be there. But yes,
well, that would be a t-shirt, surely. Cupcake scholar. Yeah, I put down, yeah, she's not scared of dropping some puns, and I love it. I love the drum burst, and there's a track by Tony Loke. I don't know if you know it.
No, I don't.
He had a big hit in like early 90s called Funky Cold Medina.
Oh yes, yes.
And this reminds you of Funky Cold Medina, which is a brilliant thing. I can definitely vibe to this, and this would be the track that I definitely would dance to.
Great.
Who knows where? But if I'm out and about it's playing, I would definitely dance to
including in the Tesco.
Including in the vegetable section, near the aubergines or eggplants, whoever you're.
Yes, from. Zucchinis. I mentioned a courgette. Sorry, zucchinis.
So many different references.
So my next track, I'm bringing you back to the serious but catchy. Right? Okay, we've had our lemon pepper fun, but now we have a song called Autism, where like each letter is spelled out individually, because the chorus is a unique thinking individual strongly matters. And again, I find this such an earnest song. It's like Cupcake saying that autistic people should be taken seriously, should be listened to, but she even does it with a sense of humor. She's basically saying like, you know, your voice should be heard. The only voice I can't listen to is that annoying bitch Siri, which really made me laugh. And yeah, she says, every kid with autism know that my heart with them. Rather listen to him than the friends he brought with him. Say what you mean and don't fold under pressure. Everything gonna be fine. And if Humpty Dumpty fall off the wall, tell Humpty Dumpty reclaim. And yeah, like I don't think she's autistic, or I haven't read anything in particular. I don't know why she's chosen kind of this as a cause, but I just think it's lovely. I think it's really nice that she's written a song about it.
Yeah, it's more of a mature side of her. It drops hard. Yeah, I put down was not expecting the Humpty reference, but I'm happy for it. The last time I heard Humpty Dumpty was Travis back in 2001 with the Humpty Dumpty song, and I bet they never would think they'd be in the same sentence as Cupcake. Again, does she write a lot of tracks like aimed at smaller societies, like, you know, like neurodiverse, LGBT?
Well, LGBT, she's done a lot about racism. For example, she has a song called Picking Cotton, for example, or like another song which is kind of about being a black woman specifically. So I think actually it is quite often to do with sexism or racism. But yeah, I've picked on kind of the two that I've picked on because they're the ones that kind of hit me the most.
But when does she talk about love?
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. So the thing with Cupcake is, like, I have basically kind of heard all of her songs, but when I listen to her music, it's actually quite rare that I'll listen through an album. I'll listen through kind of like the songs I've saved. So I have to almost kind of force myself, but no, it's a pleasure. So there's a lot of her songs where I'm just, I haven't gone to look at the lyrics, or I haven't paid attention, because every time you read an article you're like, there's a song called this about this, because she did so many albums in such a short space of time.
I was looking at Genius for some of the lyrics, and there's so many references I don't even know where to start with this. And trying to analyze it, I was like, is that hatred? What's happening? I struggled to, especially the next two. I was like, I'm trying to work out the story or the message.
So the next two, it's I'll do them in a row. So it's Grilling the N-word and Grilling the N-word Part 2. So I picked these two because obviously it's clearly like a Part 1 and Part 2. The first song is from 2019. I picked it because, this seems like a song on a new level. Like, definitely, even when you go and look at the video as well, where there's, she's barbecuing in a variety of outfits, and chopping, using a knife quite aggressively and scarily. And there's a white man in some plastic sheeting, and there is a line where she says, like, when white people, like, what were the lyrics? Let me go and find them. But it's like, when white people break their neck or something like that, and then it points to him directly, which really made me laugh.
She's playing golf off his
off his mouth, yeah.
And there's like a hand which she's using as meat. In a meat grinder.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the lyric, and this is actually quite a funny lyric. All the white folks keep breaking their neck. They're trying to see if I'm black and a threat, but I'm covered in green. They like, look, it's Shrek. Green obviously meaning like dollars, which are green. That I didn't get that completely the first time. But yeah, I mean, I picked this actually kind of like for sort of sad reasons as well, because I don't know if you read up on this, but in 2019, it was even in BBC News. I kind of didn't miss this, but she tweeted that she wanted to commit suicide, and it led to like Charlie XCX kind of doing some tweets being like, I love you so much, like you've taught me so much about embracing who I am, I hope you're okay. And like there was a comedian friend of hers who kind of got the police to go around, and I don't think anything happened, but I think they took her to the hospital as a precaution. And that's why, you know, then from 2020 to 2023 she did release songs, but it took until 2024 to release an album. And yeah, I think Grilling Part 1, let's say, is it's a very catchy song, but Grilling Part 2 I think feels like, which is like at the end of the playlist, I think it feels like a natural ending. It's a really great song from her latest album and a kind of continuation and elevation to her sound. She says that she's like, you know, this, I've really kind of put everything into it. And the video is such an upgrade quality wise. Like now it looks like a professional music video, and oh my God. I mean, maybe you'll talk about the funny surprise that comes in around 30 seconds when the barbecue lid is lifted.
Dicks on the Barbie.
Dicks on the Barbie.
Soft right down under. Throw me another dick in the Barbie. Apologies to any Australian people listening to this.
Again, her outfits, her wigs are so out there. Like it's so like I'm again not a very fashionable person, but she's very fashionable. She has like a blonde wig with like a tiger stripes. She has like a bra with all these different accoutrements on it, and the lyrics are really funny. I ain't claiming no exes, I still be calling shit Twitter. Your name hold no weight like Ozempic and cocaine. I'm just fucking being honest. Pinky ring made promise, ran through so many rings, look like an episode of Sonic. And someone did point out that in the part 1 she talks about Mario, and in part 2 she talks about Sonic, so there's a nice little lyrical continuation. But yeah, I still haven't listened to the new album that much, because like I said, when I had the first listen to it, I was like, oh, I'm actually quite disappointed. So I only got back into it about 2 weeks ago when I was like, yeah, I need to start preparing for this episode. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting to it.
So I noticed part 2, I think musically it sounded more like 90s hard and New York rap in production. Yeah. And she's moved away from that kind of like playful medieval thing. So that's what curiosity produced. I wondered she got like a different So yeah, I wasn't a big fan of
part 2.
The part 2. Although I love the video.
Yeah, the video's great,
I prefer part 1, and part 1 musically it reminds me of Jaws. It's like dun 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 dun, and then it hits like dun dun at the climax of each chorus. I prefer grinning N-word part 1. And I noticed the pop culture references. I said, okay, that's one of the things we can link to Eminem, is that we're discussing the pop culture popcorn kind of references. But I definitely prefer the part 1, although I didn't know that there was a part 1 and part 2. So I was reading the lyrics for part 1, watching the video for part 2, thinking,
what's she doing?
Which doesn't seem to add up at all. I enjoy both videos and both tracks. I mean, scrolling through it, it's not really a track I don't really like. I didn't love Typo, but yeah, I pretty much enjoyed lyrics videos or sonically most of the tracks, and I was presently surprised. I'm
shocked. Like I thought you'd maybe like 2 or 3, and that you'd appreciate the kind of humor. But I mean, that just goes to show, isn't it? Like neither you or I are natural kind of hip hop heads at all. But there's something that cupcakKe is doing that resonates. And I don't think it is just the sense of humor and her frankness. Like, she has good flow and she has good beats. I looked it up, by the way. So Grilling Part 2 is by, the producer is 27 Corazones Beats. I mean, I think that's 27 hearts in Spanish. And Def Stars, who I mentioned before, he's also on some of the songs on there. He's on Little Red Riding Good and Dementia, which is a bit, that one is about I think a guy not texting back, and she's like, but why, he's got dementia.
But also tell me this, so with a lot of hip hop stars you mentioned, they like to collaborate with other hip hop artists? Is it mainly just her on her tracks? Or is
On her
with,
tracks,
featuring?
it is, I think, almost only her. And like, again, looking at the credits, she has written, it's like composer, lyricist, songwriter, Elizabeth Harris for every single one of them. So she is fiercely independent, but she does feature on other people's songs. But like I said, very often it is people who are not bigger than her. There's one that's kind of like a more indie one that I just remembered that I really should have added to you. That's quite fun. That I've now completely forgotten the name. I've completely forgotten the. I've just found someone's done an espresso remix. You know, Sabrina Carpenter. There's a cupcake remix apparently. That should be good. I think. There's a lot of cupcake remix. I had seen Old Town Ho, which was the Old Town Road remix by Cupcake. Lots to see out there. But again, like I said, a lot of it, like, I don't know, it's because they're so small or anything, has been kind of wiped, at least from YouTube, and some of them wouldn't be on Tidal or Spotify. So yeah,
that's really weird, because like YouTube would be one of the main ways you can earn an income.
Like it is interesting when you hear artists talking about like how, you know, they don't even want to hear music that they made from back in the day, like to the point where they don't even want to share it with anyone else, which I'm like, wow, again, I'm not an artist, but I can't imagine that, because once it's out there, it's not yours, is it? Like
So we've got no gossip. She's not dating anyone. She's not doesn't hate anyone famous. She's not been in any diss tracks or anything.
No, because I think she does reference other people, but normally it's in good jest. Apparently, yes. There's Cash Doll, who I have heard of, and there's Suki Hana, who I haven't heard of. That's it. And I'm seeing E-Online article. They said that she dissed Lizzo, but because there's a line where she's like pockets thick like Lizzo or something like that, which could imply that she's fat, but it would also imply that she's a big star, right? Like as in thick, because Lizzo is also big and famous and making money now. But I think nothing too big, thank God. And that's refreshing as well, right? Like I mean, okay, I think we did discuss this, but while I do have no patience for rap beefs, Kendrick Lamar's songs dissing Drake were very good, I have to say. They were on my most listened. Like, Euphoria. Go listen to Euphoria by Kendrick Lamar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not the Eurovision one. Okay, right.
You can listen to that one too. Get Loreen her coin. Yeah. So, obviously, you know, I do think that Cupcake is underrated for the reasons I outlined at the beginning of, like, yes, she clearly has a following and some numbers, but she doesn't have mainstream recognition. Would you say that Cupcake is over or underrated?
So, when I went into it, I thought I had never heard of this artist, and because of what she's talking about, I thought she's going to have a really low following on Spotify. So I was surprised she's got 2 million, because that's like bigger than, like, you know, I guess a mainstream indie band in the UK. But then obviously she's American though, so you're going to get more. But when I looked at similar artists, she's way below like the Nicki Minaj's or the Megan Thee Stallion. So for that reason, she's definitely underrated. And the fact that, you know, I would have, there's no way in hell I would have ever heard a second of her music without you. So therefore she can't really be on many people's radars. And like, yes, I'm a typical white boy indie guy, but I am aware of other genres and I've never heard of her. So, you know, so thank you for introducing me.
I'm so glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, I think you're a comedy fan, and I do think that if you are a comedy fan, like, all you have to do is look at the lyrics of one or two of her funniest songs, and there's line after line after line after line. And I think, if I had more time and patience, then you'd really go and decipher the lyrics, because that can be really fun, right? To be like, okay, I'm going to try and understand all these references. And you can definitely do that with Cupcake, which definitely, you know, turns the nerdy gear in me. Like, I like when something is a bit it's a bit complicated and you have to dig at it. But like I said, I love her music and I really admire her as a person, and I wish for there to be more cupcakes onto the world.
Well, she's still young, so I'm sure she will be going for many, many decades to come.
And Fran, I hope she gets that lemon pepper sauce.
And, you know, in every National Cupcake Day, I will, you know, play some.
Oh my god!
Some lemon pepper.
I hadn't even thought of that. Like, surely, I mean, I hope she's getting her branding deals and stuff. I think she had one with Fashion Nova, which is a fashion brand. And I think she's wearing like Chanel glasses, isn't she, in the Grilling Part 2 video?
Okay.
Or something like that. Again, I'm so not fashion. I don't know. Any wise words to wrap up? I don't know why I said wise. Any words? To wrap
Anyways, I will say that, try and stay out of your lane, because we all live in the world of the algorithm, and sometimes it's nice to be introduced to something you wouldn't normally be introduced to. And, and it's all sad in the music world where we're kind of forced into our genre, which you don't really get in books and, TV and film. We all go and see comedy, horror, drama. So, we shouldn't all be listening to metal or indie. We should try and listen to as many different things as possible. And I do miss that. So, yeah. So, guys, when you're on your Spotify, maybe check out a playlist from another genre and see what you're missing.
That's a really good point. And you can be very specific, right? You can go and check out like Dallas hip hop from the 90s or Croatian folk music from the 2000s. And I've been reading articles about how like the nature of the Spotify algorithm is that it's suggesting less and less diversity to you as well if you're on Spotify. Compared to what it was before. And I don't have Spotify anymore, but we make our playlists on Spotify, and obviously I listen to them on there, and I have the adverts. And I got like such a long Coldplay advert when I was listening to Eminem, and I was like, that's quite funny, because I imagine that Coldplay is someone who Eminem would absolutely rip the piss out of, and to get such a big Coldplay advert in the middle of it, I was like, oh Christ. Yeah, I think even if it's not clicking on another playlist, like try and listen to an online radio station that's a bit different. Try and ask your friend with a different music taste for some tips. So it could be worth it.
Yeah, because I listen to I guess the best tracks from Pitchfork and Vulture and Q and Six Music, and then I went on to the top 10 darkwave tracks of 2024, the top 10 hip hop tracks, and they don't love it all, but you might come across something, so it's worth giving it a try. Yeah,
I think that's why on our end of year episode, which I'm sure we'll be recording, and we will fix a date soon, we always have that category of the song you didn't expect to like, and it's always quite left field from both of us, I feel, with that. And because while we are more genre agnostic these days than we were before, I think obviously we, especially the two of us, it's like rock, electro, pop feature heavily. So may your days be blessed with cupcakes, positivity, and the like.
And keep licking that pussy. Goodbye.
Bye. You made it to the end. Well done. I hope your ears are still intact, but not your modesty. If you enjoyed this episode and have more suggestions of hip-hop acts or other acts that you would like us to cover, get in touch. We are on Twitter at OUMusicPod. We are on Instagram at overunderatedmusicpod. And we are on email at overunderatedmusicpod@gmail.com. Have a wonderful evening, day, whatever time it is. Slurp away, slurp, slurp.